Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Dave sent me a note about a debt collection scam that the Federal Trade Commission is clamping down on. And this is a good one because, a lot of people complain that someone will contact and go, you owe us money. And it's a debt collector who claims that they are holding a debt that you created a long, long time ago. And there's a whole bunch of problems in the debt collection industry. I've got friends who do debt collection law. There's laws to protect you if someone comes after you and you don't owe the money, or if they have abusive practices trying to collect the money. But the weird part is that they make so much money doing it, a lot of times they don't care, and they just do what they can to wring money out of people. So the Federal Trade Commission recently stopped a debt collector's debt parking scheme, and they are requiring the company to delete debts it placed on consumers' credit reports. Debt parking is a type of scam that they will do to try to get money out of you, even if you don't owe it. So Dave sent me the story. This is straight from the Federal Trade Commission's own website. Press release: agency complaint alleges company collects millions in fake debts by placing bogus information on consumer credit reports. And a lot of people don't check their credit report that often or check their credit scores that often until they're going to buy something big. And they go to buy something and find out, oh, you've got this weird thing on your credit. And you're like, what's that? So Federal Trade Commission has taken action against a debt collection company that allegedly placed bogus or highly questionable debts onto consumers' credit reports to coerce them to pay the debts. Under a settlement with the FTC, the company Midwest Recovery Systems is prohibited from the practice known as debt parking. They are required to delete the debts previously reported to credit reporting agencies. So debt parking is the scam. The FTC alleged that Midwest Recovery collected more than $24 million from consumers on these debts, largely by debt parking. Also known as passive debt collection, debt parking can result in a consumer only finding out that a purported debt exists when his or her credit report is accessed in connection with buying a car or a home. Sometimes opening a credit card or even applying for a job. Some places you apply for jobs, they pull your credit. They come back and they go, oh, you've got this wacky debt that you haven't paid. What's wrong? What's wrong with you? Why you don't pay your debts? The defendants use this illegal debt parking to coerce people to pay debts they didn't owe or didn't recognize. That is a quote from the FTC. The complaint by the Federal Trade Commission alleged that Midwest Recovery received thousands of complaints each month. Thousands of complaints each month about the purported debts from consumers, with the company itself finding that between 80 to 97% of the debts they investigated were inaccurate or not valid. So they'd even say, oh, we looked at that, you're right. It was wrong, we shouldn't have done that. Oh well. In addition to payday lending debts, the complaint notes that the company parked significant quantities of medical debt, which is often a source of confusion and uncertainty for consumers because of the complex and opaque system of insurance coverage and cost sharing. In one example that the Federal Trade Commission trotted out to show us how it works, a consumer was told when applying for a mortgage that an outstanding $1,500 medical debt placed on his credit report by Midwest Recovery had lowered his credit score and jeopardized his purchase. The consumer contacted the hospital to whom the debt was owed, who told him that he only owed $80 as a copay. $80. So he owed the hospital $80. That's true. But the company, the debt collection company, had put on his credit report that he owed $1,500. In spite of that, Midwest refused to remove the $1,500 debt and threatened the consumer with a lawsuit if he didn't pay. How they turned the $80 debt into $1,500, we don't know. The FTC's complaint alleges that the company and its owners violated a whole bunch of acts, including the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and the FCRA's Furnisher Rule. Under the terms of the settlement, Midwest Recovery and its owners will be prohibited from debt parking and pursuing consumers for alleged debts without a reasonable basis. The settlement also requires Midwest Recovery and its owners to contact credit reporting agencies and request all debts reported by the company be deleted from consumers' credit reports. The settlement includes a monetary judgment of over $24 million, which is partially suspended based on an inability to pay. The owner and the company will be required to pay $56,000, and the owner will also be required to sell his stake in another debt collection company and provide the proceeds from that sale to the Federal Trade Commission. In addition, Midwest Recovery will be required to surrender all of its remaining assets. If the defendants are found to have misrepresented their ability to pay, the full amount of the judgment would become immediately payable. The commission vote authorizing the staff to file the complaint and stipulated final order injunction was 4-1. One of the members of the staff voted against it. The commissioner who voted no issued a statement, and Another commissioner issued a statement concurring with the statement, but apparently for different reasons. The Federal Trade Commission filed the complaint and stipulated final order in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Missouri. The commission files a complaint when it has reason to believe that the named defendants are violating or are about to violate the law, and it appears to the commission that a proceeding is in the public interest. Stipulated final injunctions and orders have the force of law when approved and signed by a district court judge. So there's a lot of debt collection companies out there, and there's a lot of stories about debt collection abuse. And if you owe money and you don't pay it, the debt can get resold over and over and over again. One of the problems they have out there is that you can pay the debt off, and somebody will still resell the debt and say, oh, we never got paid, and they'll sell the debt to somebody else. Now you're being chased by somebody else. You go, well, I paid these people. They go, no, we don't think so. And it can be a continuous thing. And so what this company is alleged to have done, and apparently they've admitted to doing, and other companies do this as well, is if you don't pay, they go, okay, they report it to a credit reporting agency, and it goes on your credit report. And that can damage your credit score. And like they said, it can hurt you in trying to apply for a loan. It can hurt you in applying for a job. And that's a problem. And if you have this happen to you, you can contact an attorney. And there are attorneys out there who take these cases. I don't, but I know people who do. And you can contact an attorney, and you can go after the people who do this. But as you may have gleaned from the last few paragraphs of that story, the company doesn't appear to have a whole lot of money. Somehow they made over $24 million from this practice, but the money is not anywhere anybody can point to. So now that they've been fined a big chunk of money, they're saying that, well, we can't pay this money back. So the monetary judgment is $24.3 million, but the company says we haven't got it, can't pay it. So they've negotiated a settlement of $56,000, which I'm not a mathematician, but that sounds like a very small fraction of $24.3 million. So I suspect what will happen is this company might kind of go away and another company will pop up and take its place. So I'm sure you've heard the lectures that people will give you that say that from time to time you should check your credit score and check your credit report. You are entitled to free copies of your credit reports from the credit reporting agencies. I believe it's once a year for each one. And I would suggest that you do that from time to time. Pull it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I pulled mine 2 or 3 years ago and found something on there that was not correct. An absolute falsity. And it was wrong. And I sent the dispute letter and they removed it. And when they removed it, my credit score jumped. And I substantially jumped. And I hadn't been following my credit score at that time as closely as I should have. But from time to time, periodically, I do pull my credit report and take a look at it. And so how that thing got on there, I don't know. But I got it removed. And it's gone now. So it's been a little while since I pulled mine. I'll probably pull it again if I get bored over the holidays. Who knows? That's a good idea. But if you've been a victim of debt parking, you should know the Federal Trade Commission is clamping down on it. But if it's actually happened or happening to you, contact an attorney who does debt collection law, because there are attorneys out there who specialize. And in fact, I did a video with my good friend Adam Alexander, who's an attorney here in Michigan. And that's one of the things that he specializes in, is chasing down debt collectors who do these kinds of things. So the Federal Trade Commission stops debt collectors' alleged debt parking scheme, and they're requiring that company to delete debts it placed on consumers' credit reports. So some good news coming out of Washington for once. Dave, thanks for sending it. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Of all the paths you take in life, make sure a few of them are dirt.